Good morning, my name's David Ridgway and this is Kirklees Local Television's Weekly Wind-Up. Last week we started this new weekly magazine programme reviewing all the local weekly news. I said then that we aim to be interesting, amusing, provocative and challenging, and yes, I have had some feedback. We've had a surprising number of hits, far more than I expected, and yes, I've had an excellent response from Lisa Stringer and the Marsden Dog Poo campaign, and we have received a number of requests from people who are foolish enough to actually want to be on the programme. So we'll be bringing those to you in weeks to come. We also want you to tell us what you want us to do, and you can contact Kirklees Local TV on info@kirkleeslocaltv.com and on Twitter @KirkleesLocalTV. This week my special guests are Emily Reeves and Drama Richmond. Emily, on my left, is the musical director for the new Kirklees Mass Choir and the Honley Ladies Choir. Drama is a young student who wants to be an actor, but with a name like Drama, what else? Welcome, Emily.
Hello.
Welcome, Drama.
Hello.
Now, Emily is here today for a very specific reason, but before we talk about that, can I both ask you, has anything specific caught your eye in the local news this week?
Blimey. Where to start? You start, Drama.
I'd like to point out, was it Rhinewood School plans to...
Rhinewood.
Yeah, that's it. Plans to expand their school to capacitate 600 students from the already 400. Personally, I think it'd be better to just make a whole new school rather than make one bigger, because I feel that the education would go downhill because obviously the extra number of students. So that's something that caught my eye this week.
Okay, and of course Rhinewood School is not all that far away from Royds Hall, is it?
Yeah, that's true.
And Royds Hall was announced last week that they want to have a through school.
Right, okay.
So do you think there's a bit of competition going on?
Yeah, definitely by the sounds of it. Yeah.
Well, this is broadly in your neck of the woods.
It is really, yeah. And going on from schools, one thing that caught my eye was this silly, insane notion that you have to invite all the kids out of your child's class to a birthday party. And actually it's ridiculous. And one of my friends has actually just had to invite 35 kids that she doesn't know to her child's birthday party. And I just think that was silly. So going on from the school.
Does her child like the children?
No.
Okay, brilliant. Well, there you are, that's socialism in the raw. Okay, well, a number of items have caught my eye over the week. Did either of you see, well obviously not because you haven't mentioned it, that the Bagshaw Museum in Batley is looking for volunteers? Did you know there was a Bagshaw Museum in Batley?
Nope.
Oh, there's nothing like having parochialism, is there? Right, okay, have you heard of the Friends of Tulsa Museum?
Yes.
Okay, well now the Friends of Tulsa Museum has been really successful, as far as I understand, in raising the awareness of the Tulsa Museum. Have you ever been?
Yeah, a long time ago though.
Oh, right.
Yes, I've been quite a lot. I take my nieces and nephew up there on a regular basis. So.
Okay. What do you go to look at specifically?
Well, obviously they particularly like the stuffed animals,
Right.
and the antique cars. I think that's a favourite amongst the younger kids. So, and I personally enjoy looking at them myself. So that's probably the best.
I just refrain from asking if you actually like stuffing animals. Going there. Fine. Well, now the Friends of Tulsa Museum has actually been really successful, and in the Huddersfield part, and certainly up the valleys, there has been a lot of local work done by local volunteers to keep society running. Do you think that having these Friends of Tulsa Museum, Friends of Greenhead Park, Friends of this, Friends of that, that is a way forward to demonstrate David Cameron's idea of a big society?
I think it's a necessity because the government are not backing a lot of these things that are community-based projects, and I don't think there's enough funding there. So I think it's a necessity for these projects to keep going, that they have friends of that do fundraising and all that kind of thing. So yes, it's a necessity, unfortunately.
Do you think it's a bit of a desperate attempt?
I think it's unfair. I think that there's a lot of projects out there that are needed in the community to help the community bond and create themselves as a community. And I feel that the government should be backing these to help youngsters, help lots of people get out and about into their community.
There's a bit of chicken and egg here, though, isn't there? That does the government back it, or do the people start it? And if the people start it and it's successful, why should the government back it on top of that?
I think, like you say, it's a chicken and egg, and you can talk yourself in circles of this. That actually,
Yeah.
Both of these got equal merit.
We've got 40 minutes to go.
Yeah.
Is that be okay?
Yeah, I agree with
Both of them got
Emily.
equal merit. That some projects have been set up because there's a necessity, and it's been a shortfall from the government, so they've been set up by the community. But that doesn't mean that they're any less important to a government funding scheme than ones that have been set up by a government.
Yeah, I feel the government, by the government backing, would actually be initiative for more people to actually start more projects in the community as well. So I think it should probably start with the government, which would give the people initiative to.
Well, I think it should start with the people.
Okay.
Because if it starts with the people, they are demonstrating a specific interest in the things that they want to do. And if the things that they want to do are for the benefit of the community as a whole, then I think the government, local or national, should then step in and add that support.
Yes,
But I think you cannot drive the people to do the things that they don't want to do.
yeah, that's true.
So I think it should start with the people. But I'm not here to persuade, I'm just here to listen.
But I think it should be easier for people to get money once they have established themselves as
Where
a
from?
cause. Anywhere, I think that a lot of the time when you're trying to fundraise, it's a lot of filling in a lot of forms and a lot of things, and I think it should be made a lot easier to access money when you've got these community projects that we need to get funded.
Excellent. And it's not always easy, is it, Emily?
No, it's not.
We'll talk about that later. Right, okay. Do you know that our pavements, or do you think that our pavements are getting worse?
Yes.
Me personally, in my look, I don't see much of an improvement, but I don't see much of a downfall. So for me, it just feels like it's the same.
Well, a lot of people have been suffering a fall down rather than a downfall.
Can agree with that.
Do you know how much Kirklees has paid out in compensation over the last 5 years?
I'm guessing a very high amount.
Few thousand, going into multiples of thousands, possibly.
My guess was actually millions, but
That's too high.
um,
Come on, let's
around
take
the
it.
million mark anyway.
£750,000. It's £250,000 more than Leeds City Council. It's on average £150,000 a year. Does that sound high?
That sounds ridiculously high, to be
It's
honest.
higher than it should be, but I think it's equated to what the pavements and roads in Huddersfield are, because they're all appalling.
Is it also a demonstration that we're becoming more of a litigious society?
Oh, what society?
Well,
Come on, speak to us in English.
a blameworthy society, like I've
I
took
think
over a payment, therefore it's your fault, therefore I want
Possibly,
money.
I think that's come from America, and I think that's possibly true. But there are cases that we have genuine that. But yeah, I think we are becoming a bit of a blame society.
Talking about sponsorship, as we were before, and talking about pavements now, would it be an idea to ask the public to sponsor a pavement?
I think you get them saying, "Why should we?"
Yeah. Exactly that.
Just thought I'd ask. Just thought I'd ask. Now, last week on our show, we talked about a breast cancer charity calendar, and yes, it was the Cleckheaton version of the Calendar Girls. Not to be left out, Cheryl Cooper from Heckmondwike has bared all to raise awareness for Anti-Bullying Week. Now, tell me, Emily.
You're not going to ask me to bear all, I hope, David.
No. Would you bear all for a good cause?
It'd have to be a very good cause.
Okay. I'll put my thinking cap. And I understand.
I can do other ways of raising money than bearing all.
I understand that you are the voice of 2 ladies' choirs.
Yes.
Not content with one, you have to have 2.
Well, you know. It was such a success, the first one, that we decided to roll it out bigger.
But do you really think that this is an acceptable or a good way to get publicity?
What, singing or bearing all?
Bearing all.
I think if you got the body for it and feel fine bearing on, go for it.
Yeah, I feel if it's for such a good cause, obviously they say that sex sells, so I think that's where they've obviously taken this from. And I think it's people are more likely to invest in that, but as sad as it is, but it's true. And if it's for a good cause, why not?
Well, I can tell you that...
But you've got 10 copies already, yeah?
No. Well, maybe. More information about Cheryl's campaign can be obtained online at cherylandcooper@hotmail.co.uk. Now, I have to ask you that speeding traffic is often seen by many people as an insoluble problem. Some success has been achieved with SIDS. Do you know what a SID is?
No. Yes, but no, go on.
It's a speed indicator device.
Speed camera.
No, a speed indicator device. No, a it's these things on the side of the road which show you speed either in red, which is bad, or in green, which is good.
Yes.
And if you're driving along and one of these suddenly flashed up in red numerals, would you slow down?
Yes.
Yes, I would.
Yeah, okay. You obviously don't live in Dewsbury. Because in Dewsbury, they are used on a competitive basis. And the local boy racers are speeding round a specific bend, I'm not going to tell you where it is, to see how fast they can record on the speed indicator device. That's absolutely
That's
outrageous.
appalling, absolutely appalling.
Now, tell me, drama, you being of the age to be a boy racer, and you told me before the show that you've got a car, do you think it would be quite simple for the local police to be near that specific speed indicator device in order to raise their arrest rate?
I suppose that's true, but again, I think that'd be a waste of police resources, really. I think they should just put a speed camera in that area. I just think it'd make more sense, because speed cameras happen to be the most effective form of for boy racers. So.
Okay. Well, what measures would you introduce in order to reduce speed on roads?
Well, on that bend, take that SID away for a start,
Yeah.
and then they won't be competing.
Absolutely right.
It's very difficult. It's a very difficult one, because if you implement all the speed bumps, then you just annoy people on the other way.
My personal favourite is the signs what indicate that there's a speed camera coming up. A lot of roads have them but don't have speed cameras, and I think that they're the most genius and money-saving way of stopping speeding, because you get a lot of people panicking that there's a speed camera coming up but there's no speed camera there.
That's exactly
and it is
the
false
same.
advertisement, but it works. It really works.
That's exactly the same as the cardboard cut-out police cars on motorways that they used to have some years ago.
Well, I never even heard of that.
Isn't he delightfully young? Yeah. Right, we're going to take a break now, which is a bit concerning, because I wasn't expecting to take a break just at this stage. However, we'll take a break now. Kirklees Local TV can easily be contacted on info@kirkleeslocaltv.com and on Twitter @KirkleesLocalTV. Welcome back. I'm David Ridgway, and this is Kirklees Local Television's Weekly Wind-Up. It's really inevitable that a lot of news will be bad news. What with the cuts, reductions in staff, layoffs, strikes, service shake-ups and so on and so on. This week, the Deputy Leader, Councillor David Sheard, has warned that there is no magic way out of the cuts. So I thought I'd bring you all some good news, to encourage you to tell me about good news in your areas. Kirklees Local TV can easily be contacted on info@kirkleeslocaltv.com or on Twitter @KirkleesLocalTV. And the good news is to note the expansion of the Magic Rock Brewery Company, who are planning to move from Quarmby, your neck of the woods, to the Ringway Industrial Estate to cope with their increasing demand. Have you ever heard of the...
I have heard of it, actually.
Oh, good. Have you drunk their product?
No.
Well, we'll have to do something about that. No doubt they'll be sending us a crate now that we've mentioned them on air. And I must just also comment that I mentioned the Deputy Leader of the Council, Councillor David Sheard, in that report, because it has also been reported that the leader, Councillor Mahbub Khan, has been seen shaking hands with a Dalek. Does anybody know if it's true whether or not he's been terminated? Okay. Obviously not. Now, Emily, we've known each other for over 18 months now, and I must thank you for all your hard work in bringing the setting up of the Kirklees Mass Choir. Tell me, how did this come about?
I had an idea about 3 years ago, kind of following on from the military wives escapades, that we could do exactly the same in Yorkshire. And I thought we could recruit a lot of ladies that had never sung before.
Okay. How was your recruitment successful?
Yes, very successful.
How did you do it?
We did lots of flash mobs around Kirklees.
Is it flash mob?
Yeah, absolutely. No, a flash mob, we went through towns, Huddersfield, Mirfield, Dewsbury, and just began singing.
Okay.
And shocked the community into joining us. So we had lots of ladies. We had 250 ladies in the end that did a concert for you.
I want to ask Drama a question at this moment. Have you ever been involved in a flash mob?
No, but in fact, I actually have. I forgot. I did a short dance piece. It was in Huddersfield area as well, and I think it was at the Piazza.
I hope you got a license.
Oh yeah, it was part of a big company, so.
Okay, just thought I'd ask. Right, Emily, when's your next concert?
We are now doing another concert on Remembrance Day, 10th of November, and this time it's for the Poppy Appeal, not for the Yorkshire Regiment specifically. And we're at the Town Hall, and again we've recruited ladies that have never sung before. We are 130-40 strong this time,
Okay.
but it's going to be a great concert.
Have you got a star attraction?
We do, David. We have a lovely star attraction.
Okay,
A
and that
very
is?
beautiful boy named Joe McElderry.
And who is Joe McElderry?
Joe McElderry is the X Factor winner, and
When?
2004
4 years ago.
years ago. There you go. You've been researching him, haven't you? You've been looking at his beautiful face. He's from Newcastle, and he's coming down to join us on the 10th of November to join us in the concert, and it will be a fantastic night with him.
Okay, and where can I book a ticket?
You can book the tickets through the Kirklees booking office or through the library and the information centre, and it's going to be £20 a ticket, and we'd love you all to be there.
Great stuff. Thanks very much, Emily. That's great. Thank you very much. Your work last year for my charity was unstinting, and I'm very happy to put that on public record. I'm asking you all to support this great cause, the Royal British Legion Poppy Appeal. I know the tickets are £20, but stars like Joe McElderry do not come cheap. He is a massive draw, and it's really great that he's coming to the Huddersfield Town Hall. Thanks, Emily, for all the information.
Thank you.
Right, now then, are either of you involved with Kirklees neighbourhood housing?
No, but there was something on the news about it as well, something similar this morning.
Yes, I rent
Okay. And you have just been advised by K&H that you can't pay your rent other than by direct debit.
Yes, I think that's ridiculous, to be honest. It doesn't affect me personally because I have no problem working with direct debits, but I think for the older generation and people who don't have bank accounts, I think it's a whole lot of unnecessary hassle and stress for them. I just think it's a bit unfair, really.
So having the tenants having taken the issue to a scrutiny appeal, are you aware that that scrutiny turned them down?
No, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, okay. How inconvenient will this be to tenants, Drama?
Well, like I said, in the older generation, I think it'd be so inconvenient for them because that means them having to find different ways of making the payments. They're going to have to go to town. I don't know if they'll have to open up post office accounts and stuff like that. I just think it's pointless effort, really is.
I've got to try and find out how cynical you are now.
Yeah.
I wonder, and do you wonder, how deep the research was into the numbers of tenants who don't have bank accounts, knowing as much as you do about Kirklees Council?
No, I can imagine that they probably didn't do that much research into it.
Okay, well, they'll tell us that they did,
Yeah.
of course. Do you think we're witnessing the start of Big Brother telling us what we must and must not do?
Yes, I do.
Yes and no. I think online banking and the computer world is becoming the norm, and I think eventually it's just the way the world is going.
Okay. Do you think we're leaving behind a gentler and more caring society?
Yes and no again, because
Would you like to take the yes bit this time?
the yes, I think, well, there's points on both sides. You know, I don't think it's a clear-cut black and white decision. I think we all hark back to when we were children and we felt we could go and play outside and there was no harm, etc. But that harm was still there. It's just the media now tells us about it.
Okay.
And I think, you know, you've got things on both sides. So
Well, maybe this isn't a real issue. Maybe Emily, you're right, and I'm just blowing in the wind here. So I want to know what you people think. Will you let us know? info@kirkleeslocaltv.com, Twitter @kirkleeslocaltv. Have you guys heard of the resignation of a councillor this week?
no, are you happy about it?
I'm not in a position to comment.
Oh, okay.
I'm politically neutral here. The fact that I'm wearing a badge is irrelevant. I regret to tell you that because I think he's a good guy, that Councillor Paul Salverson has tendered his resignation. It's been accepted, and there will be a by-election towards the back end of November. I have to say towards the back end of November because I can't remember the date. But I think it's really rather sad.
Why is it that he's resigned? Is there a particular reason, or?
So I do the questions and you do the answers. But it's a good question, and I don't know the answer. I did put out a tweet earlier on today saying, I do not know, this is an answer to the question from somebody else, I do not know, but we are full of speculation, and I'm speculating away like mad. But I can't do that today, because it'll all come out very soon. Okay, moving on. Scammon and Dam. Do you remember the big drought, Emily?
Yes.
1995. Do you remember the lorries?
Yes,
carrying,
I did, because I
all
used to
that
live
water?
up there. So.
Did you really? Oh, right, okay. Well, we're being told that Scammon and Dam is at its lowest level for years, and I suspect possibly since that drought. How much good do those tankers do?
What do you mean? How much good do they do? They
Well-
filled the
Well, filled's a bit of a...
well, they
isn't it?
supplemented, shall we say.
Well, I've heard, and I don't know how true this is, but I've heard that it was a total PR exercise and they didn't do any good
What, were they
at all.
travelling empty then?
No, they were pouring the water, that there is no doubt. They were pouring the water, but it didn't make a heap of the difference to the actual distribution of water. So I've heard that. Could be wrong. But what did happen is that the water companies did build a drought relief network of piping, so that if such a situation happened again in West Yorkshire, it can be piped down from Keele down way up in Northumberland. I think that's really good news. But aren't you surprised, after all the rain we had last year, that Scammon and Dam is getting empty?
It's the way of the world, isn't it?
I would have thought that they would have thought of the piping idea a lot sooner, to be honest, rather than the truckloads of water. I thought that would have been...
Sure, I really like talking to you, Driver, because you're such an idealist. In a proper world, you're absolutely right. Thinking about tomorrow instead of just sandbagging the problems we have today. Absolutely, I'm with you, totally with you. Right, we've done all that, and we're going to take another break now. So I'm David Ridgway, and this is Kirklees Local Television's Weekly Wind-Up. And now welcome back. I'm David Ridgway, and this is Kirklees Local Television's Weekly Wind-Up. A bit of news about me. We're recording this weekly magazine programme on the day that I had an operation. I've had a gel put into my left knee to relieve the pain of arthritis, and so far all is going really well. Now, do either of you suffer from arthritis?
I did when I was younger. I just
You did when you were younger? And
It was a child's version of arthritis, and I had it in my knees.
Okay.
No, I'm lucky to not have...
You told me earlier on that your gran does.
Yes, my nan suffers from it. Not sure what medication she's on from it though.
Well, I was given some advice, and I'm going to tell you this because I think it's good. That a very good friend of mine suggested that I should take cool oil. Now, you get cool oil from a health food shop, and I can tell you it tastes exceptionally disgusting. But the day after I started taking it, the pain in my knee started to dissipate. But the consultant still said I should have something done. We've all read that the NHS is in crisis. Do you think this is fair?
It is hard to judge now.
Yeah, I think some trusts are in greater danger.
What about
than
locally
others.
here?
I think Huddersfield, now it's joined with Calderdale, has kind of sorted itself out a little bit, although I think splitting the service is not good for us at this side of Kirklees. But what can we say? I think they've had to do it.
Do you have you actually had to use the NHS recently?
Yes.
I have this as well myself.
And were they okay for you?
Yeah, they're good.
It was perfect for me and I was very
Well,
well treated.
I got to the age of 65 without really using the NHS at all, and since then I've been really banging in because I get it for free now. And I go to see my doctor probably once every 3 weeks, and I think it's brilliant. I think she's getting a bit fed up with it. There you are. Okay, have you heard that we should move Leeds Bradford Airport?
Yes, I've
Yes.
heard about
Why? I don't know.
Yes, why?
Why?
I think that's ridiculous.
Given
I
a
think
choice,
if they're going to move it, shouldn't they not put it in a different place in the beginning?
well, given a choice, where would you put it? Okay,
I
that's
don't feel
hard.
it should be moved. I think it's in a good area where so many different places like Huddersfield, like you said, can get to it at an easy access. I think it's
Okay.
I think it's nicely
Inconvenient.
distributed between.
Like the other side of Leeds,
well, yeah.
helpful.
I think it had to happen. It was there, so just deal with it
Okay.
now and carry on.
Who would pay for such a move?
Well, it's going to be the taxpayers, isn't it?
Oh,
Of course.
I guess so. Do you think that it's a right time to consider such a decision when we're in the middle of a recession?
No,
All this, okay.
because it's not a necessity.
And do you think that there might be more pressing matters for such capital expenditure?
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Oh, good. Right.
Charity
What?
should be beginning at home. I think we need to sort out poverty in this country. I think we need to stop sending as much aid to foreign countries and get ourselves sorted. Then we can sort other people's countries.
It's a
I
hard
think
one.
it isn't a hard one. We've got people that are on the poverty line. We've got people using food banks that shouldn't need to use food banks.
True enough. True
And
enough.
then we're sending millions out to Africa, which, yes, I know they need it. But ultimately, if we keep sending millions out there, we're just going to get poorer. We're going to get more people on the breadline, more people having to use food banks. Get ourselves sustainable again, then we can help.
But is
other
there
countries.
not a fair argument that if we stopped sending the aid out?
I
to
didn't say
Africa-
stop, I just said reduce it.
Yeah.
Well, okay. The argument still goes that if we reduce the amount of aid that goes to Africa, would that not encourage more refugees to come here?
Well, then that's when you need to make sure that our immigration laws are... I think we need to be a little bit more like Australia. I think we need to be sponsored. People coming in, I love people coming in from other countries. They bring different cultures, etc. But they need to be coming in and bringing things to our country.
Yeah.
Well, there has been some comments in the press this week about immigration, and we are going to concentrate on immigration in our programme next week. But before we close, I've got 4 quick items to bring to your attention. Firstly, Kirklees Local Television is to release a hard-hitting documentary on domestic violence at the end of the month. Don't miss it. It is an in-depth exploration and investigation into a very upsetting and heart-rending matter. Second, I was delighted to note that despite the appalling weather you all had over the weekend, I happened to have been away in the south of the country at a wedding, but you had to have the weather up here, that it didn't dampen the spirits at the Marsden Jazz Festival last weekend, and you all had a really good time. You didn't go, did you, Dorama? No, you like jazz, don't you?
Yeah, I love it.
Must have forgotten. Okay. Thirdly, well done to all those people involved in the Home Firth litter pick. This has really been welcomed by all the local Home Valley folk, and all credit must go to Margaret Dale for organising it. And lastly, well done to the Moorlands Primary School for installing their new bike shed. And thanks to Sustrans for part funding that project. The bikes can now be kept dry, they can be used at school, but most importantly it's encouraging the children to go to school without depending upon the free taxi from mum and dad. I'm David Ridgway, and you've been watching Kirklees Local Television's Weekly Wind-Up. Please get in touch and let us know what you know. KLTV can be contacted on info@kirkleeslocaltv.com and on Twitter @KirkleesLocalTV. So there we are, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much indeed for watching. Thank you, Emily, for coming in today to be my guest. Drama, thank you very much for coming on again. I have to say again because Drama did my pre-show when we were doing a trial run through, and that was really a really good do. I enjoyed that immensely. I mentioned just a little earlier that we're going to have a programme on immigration next week, or we're going to concentrate on immigration. Now, what I want to do between now and then is to get some very raw statistics. So we're going to have a poll. And the question is, do you think we have too many immigrants living in the Kirklees area? Yes or no? Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you all next week. Many thanks.